All right. Shalom, shalom. I'm going to start off by saying, Khan Yahweh Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakafadash. The double honor to the elders and apostles, great millstone, whom I learned the truth from. Greetings, salutations to all you out there. And, just coming back with another lesson. It's the Passover, and, it's a solemn assembly. It's a time to reflect upon the passing of judgment, okay, of the Heavenly Father, man, because the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, is about to pass judgment on this world. And, you know, we're hoping and praying that that judgment passes over us, just like it did in Egypt when the Lord plagued and killed the first son of all the Egyptians, including Pharaoh's son. It's the same story that's going to happen. Okay, except this time it's going to be the plague that's going to come upon the new Babylonians are going to be a plague of fire, the thermonuclear missiles. Those thermonuclear missiles are going to hit Babylon, which modern day Babylon is the United States primarily, starting here, America. Okay, because the word Babylon means confusion. This is the land of confusion. This is where you don't know or you can't distinguish from a woman and a man anymore, man. You know, this is the land where you don't know who's the child and who's the parent. You know, all these things and all the abominations that happen in America are also copied throughout the world. You know, so the Lord's getting ready to to, to blast this place. Now we had this dude DJ Trump give a speech, or today, actually he's going to give a speech, um, concerning this war in Iran. Like I said in last camp, the Second World War wasn't known as a world war until after the fact. But you had two fronts, or two theaters. You had the Pacific theater and you have the European theater. Likewise, today you have the Middle Eastern theater of war, and you also have now you got the European theater of war with the war in Ukraine and NATO, and then you have in the Middle East you have the Iranians versus the Israelis and the Americans and the Gulf states. Okay, so that's what's going on. Joel 9, and I'm gonna read the good old precepts. Okay, and they're not, these precepts ain't old, man. Um, these precepts are prophecies that need to come, that haven't been fulfilled yet. The Bible is a book of prophecies, law, statutes, and commandments. Okay, so we have to understand the prophecy. Look at this, Isaiah 54 and 16. Behold, I have created the smith that blows the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and have created the wages to destroy. And what is the work? Ancient Smith was known as a man that prepared weapons. Today, the modern day Smith are the scientists, that especially these nuclear scientists that create these ICBM missiles. Okay, and the purpose of the Lord is to destroy this place, man. But this is why everybody's being gathered up to the Middle East, because of this Third World War, which it has begun. It has officially begun. Okay, this Third World War has officially begun. Now I gotta invest in either another phone or an iPad. Just bear with me, Salaki, because this one is slow. I have to pull the precepts beforehand. Um, so this is Joel 3. And we do this, more importantly, to to keep ourselves steadfast, man. Because it's about here, it's about the mind. The Apostle Paul said he fought a good battle of faith. You know, that good battle of faith is happens in your mind. That's why you have to put on the armor. Putting on the armor is reading the scriptures. The armor is the scriptures, the word of the Heavenly Father, man. That's what spells out demons. You know, where every time you get that thought to do some type of wickedness, your flesh tells you to go one way. You battle that flesh, you battle those demons with that armor. That's that shield, you know, and you can reflect them damn demons off, man. Anyway, Joel 3 and 9, it says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be weakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get ye down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. The moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. The Lord also shall roar out of Zion. So that multitude in the valley of decisions are these troops, man. Here we got this dude DJ Trump talking about a ground invasion of Cars Island and whatever, and that's going up the escalation ladder. You have, if you know anything about war, you have to understand what the escalation ladder is. All right, so the escalation ladder is just what it sounds, man. It's one step above, of doing more, of instead of winding down in the war, they're doubling down, man, and that's gonna utter, and I don't want to let Razali do it, man. Why? Because what that's gonna do is get a direct response from Iran. There's gonna be a real army clash, okay, and guess what? You had the Chechen, Kadyrov, from the Chechen army. They said they were going to join the war. You had the Houthis join, so they can close down the Red Sea. So this is getting deep, man. This is getting deep because the Lord said that He was going to destroy this place, man. Lord willing, it be this year, man. And that's what we're waiting and hoping for, because the downfall of this place is going to usher in the kingdom of heaven. Okay, plain and simple. hmm This is let me see. This is Jeremiah 50 and 45. Says, therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord that he has taken against Babylon and his purposes, that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. And the modern day Chaldeans are these Edomites, man. You know, and the least of the flock is referring to the small hats, man. And this is clear evident now that Jeremiah 50 and 45 is coming to pass, because this war was started by the small hats. This dude, this dude, Marco Rubio, said, yeah, the Israelis were going to attack first, so we have to do a preemptive before they hit us. So, the main drivers of this war is them. And they're the ones that got their nose up on everybody's business down in the Middle East, because they have the whole world duped, man. They have the whole world the majority of the world believing that they are the Lord's chosen people, that they're the real Israelites, when in reality they're nothing more than imposters. They're not the real Israelites, man. Because why? Because they don't fit none of the prophecies that pertain to the Israelites, such as Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Isaiah the 60th chapter, and countless other prophecies that have come to pass concerning the Israelites. Psalms 83, and then we can keep it going. All right. So, you know, it's getting deep, man. Hopefully, this is the last Passover, man. Like we hasten the day, man. Because we're tired of suffering. We're tired of having to be witnesses to all this wickedness that goes on in this world, man. Being in a cesspool of wickedness, man. No fun, man. So we're sick and tired of slavery. We want to see the unjust, be paid, for his injustices. Talking about Esau, so-called white man, and so forth. You know, try to grab something else. Um, this is Revelation, the 18th chapter. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of his fornication, and the kings of the um, earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies, right? And that's exactly the truth. Um, all these merchants, meaning all these other nations, have dealings with America. They sit in bed with America. How? Because of the dollar. When you, especially the petrodollar. When you buy oil, you have to buy in dollars. But that's changing. So the petrodollar is on its way down, right? Because a lot of that power that the petrodollar has comes from these Gulf nations, and they getting hammered. So now Iran's talking about, the nations that want to go through the Strait have to pay in yuan. So they trying to bring now forth the petro yuan, which is going to be a complete decimation to the dollar if that happens, man. Because that's what keeps the dollar propped up. The fact that everybody in the world has to buy oil, which is the number one energy source in the planet right now, right, via dollar. So that angel is talking about the Lord, man. When the Lord's coming back, who the world literally calls Jesus Christ, his real name is Yahweh Shah. He's coming back, and he's a so-called black man. He looks like a so-called black man, okay? And he's coming back to destroy. He said that the next time he meet Esau, he ain't gonna meet him as a man. So this time, Revelations 18 is that Babylon in Revelations 18 and Isaiah is talking about here, America, the greatest kingdom that's ever been, and the Lord is notorious for that, man. Look what he did to Pharaoh. Look what he did to Pharaoh. He propped Pharaoh up to be, at that time in the ancient times, one of the greatest kingdoms that's ever been, and just so he could smack him down and drown his army. Likewise, Nero, man. Modern day Nero, which is this dude DJ Trump, man, proud as all can be. And that's Esau in a nutshell. In a nutshell, a proud damn devil, man. You know, his pride. Let me get that. Has deceived and deceived me. America pretty much lost this war, but he's doubling down. Obadiah 13, the pride of thine, Obadiah 1 and 3, Salaki. The pride of thine heart has deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the cleft of the rock, whose habitation is high, that said in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Right. And that's Esau, the biggest, baddest military in the planet. Okay. That's Esau. You know, nobody can defeat us. Meanwhile, you had an AWACS American plane that was destroyed. You had a bunch of, all the U.S. military was destroyed, you know, but they never show none of that because they're a bunch of devils, man. They're a bunch of devils. But Lord's will, this be the last Passover, because, um, the judgment that passed through Egypt, which, by the way, this is also known as Egypt. Okay, that judgment, that plague was the plague, the death of the firstborn. But this plague is by fuel fire, man. You know, Let me grab this last one here. Jeremiah 15:14. Says, put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow. Shoot at her, spare no arrows for the Lord, for she has sinned against the Lord. And obviously, a man can't grab a physical arrow and destroy a place with one arrow. These arrows are referring to thermonuclear missiles that look like arrows. Okay, and all the arrows talking about um, all the nukes that everybody has, they're gonna be launched. Okay, and America will be destroyed by the Heavenly Father through His Son Yahweh Shai, which is the prophecy. And the hopeful elect will be beamed up in that so-called rapture these so-called Christians love to talk about. Okay, which um, I gotta relight my candles. But yeah. So this is what we hope and pray that we escape, man. This is why we do this, man. In hopes and praying that Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai has mercy and takes us up in these chariots. It's the same chariots that the prophet Elijah saw, man. You know. So, anyways, this is short. I'm gonna continue with the Pazat. Just sit and reflect. And pray for mercy, man. Pray that Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai and this go around has mercy, man, on me. And brothers do the same, and all the brothers that are of the hopeful elect. So with that, I'm going to say, call halal yamla, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, the prophet of God, again, a double honor to the elders and apostles, great no, so when I learn the truth from greetings, salutations to you, Osman, Shalom, Shalom, happy Pesach.